Our special guest speaker for today. His name is Brad Stinson. Brad graduated in the class of 1999, and he has a sister, I believe, Ashley, that graduated in 2004. Brad's father, George, was a very successful soccer coach, boys soccer coach here at the high school for many, many years. They had a lot of success during his time. Brad is the co-founder of a group called The Collective. The Collective. He is based in Nashville. He likes to connect people and businesses to connect their passions to their significance. And so I'll let him tell you a little bit more about that. I believe he wrote a book, which he can maybe tell you a little bit about. He is married to Jennifer. They have three beautiful sons, Caleb, Grayson, and Will. And don't forget 2 dogs, Brutus and Mia. And so we so appreciate Brad being here all the way from Nashville. So, Brad, would you welcome Brad Stinson, please, class of 99.
Check. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, well, thank you for that introduction. Zach, I was going to say all that stuff, but he, took those words, so thank you so much. So what I wanted to start with is to kind of give you some proof that I actually went here. So I'm going to start off with a couple, pictures. Easy. So go back to the first one if you can. So, yeah. So that's my crew right there. If you see, there's Miss Metzger, if you know Miss Metzger down there on the left. Yep. So this was my crew in high school that we ran with. We thought we were cooler than we were. Next, one of the most fashionable haircuts I had is up in that top left-hand corner, and it got better as it went down. That's graduation day for us and some people here. Next one was so the senior pictures, right? Those were classic. But I do want to point one thing out. The black turtleneck? Who's that? I kind of set the trend on, So with that, I wanted to kind of tell you that I'm a person, I'm a human. I went to this high school. I love this high school. So a little bit, I started when I was 12 years old, so 25 years ago. It's a long time. I entered into CHCA, went to college, played soccer in college, played professional for a little bit, went into the corporate America world, was there for about 10 years, and then I went on to open up my own company to, like Zach said, help people find their passion. So when I was preparing for this speech, I was going, man, I sat there and I've sat over there, and I said, what would I even listen to? Because when I was there, we didn't have phones, right? So, I had laser pointers, and I'd be the guy that'd be laser pointering the guy, and then Mr. Hearn, if you know Mr. Hearn, and I'd get in trouble with Mr. Hearn, he'd take me out. So I was that guy. So I said, what would I even listen to? And if I looked back, there was a lot of people who came in, and there were some great speeches, and there were some ones where I kind of just glazed over. But, I think a lot of times when I'm sitting in the crowd, there's a lot of people talking at me and telling me what I should do, telling me what it should be, how my life should be. And what I wanted to do is say, you know what? It's hard enough just being a high schooler. And I think that you guys have a lot of things in front of you. And for me, when I came in here, I was like, man, there's a lot of things that I really didn't know, that I was trying to figure out. And, when I came in, I was the smartest kid in my public school, and I came here. Well, I came like middle to lower of the pack, and I had to work harder. I had to make the soccer team. I had to do a lot of things that I hadn't done before, and that was hard. And so when I was looking, I put some things together, and I want to read them off of like what I kind of struggle with, and maybe you guys are struggling with, because what I wanted to do today is talk with you, not at you. I want to talk with you. And what that means is that there's some topics that I struggle with, and maybe you struggle with, like relationships, or am I smart enough, or am I going to make that team? What's my identity? Am I pleasing my grandparents, my parents, my teachers, my coaches? Am I doing things because people said so or because I want to? Or do I like certain subjects because I was told to? Am I going to that college because I'm following somebody or because I'm truly passionate about going there? What decisions? I wish I had a car. I wish I had that car. Why won't he like me? Why won't she like me? I don't understand I don't understand sometimes. Life is great. Sometimes high school sucks. Why do I have to sit here and listen to this guy? And is God really a part of my life, or should God be, and how could God be a part of my life? So those are all the things, and if I think you might not have it now, you might be, freshman, you might be a senior, but those things, whether they're great or bad or confusion or unsure or clear or frustrating or not exciting, you might have those things come along in the next couple of years. And what I wanted to do is say, you know what, I hear you, I see you, I know what you're doing, because in this day and age, I think it's really tough because you have this thing called social media I did not have to deal with. Social media was not around when I was back then. And I think there's a lot of times where people are doing comparisons, and there's a lot of things that are put out there. And a lot of things that are put out there are really the best of people, not the worst, right? And there's some things that can actually be harmful when we think about social media and the world that we live in and how fast we can have things and how fast we can get things. And I think that there's something that you guys are going to have to battle with that I didn't have to battle with when I was coming through, and maybe even people 10, 15 years behind me. So I heard this speech a long time ago, about 10 years ago, from a guy by the name of Bill Hybels. And he does a church up in Chicago, and does this thing called the Leadership Summit. It's called the Here to There speech. And a lot of times we come in and we talk about there, right? Let's go there, let's go do this, let's go do next, let's go over here and say, you know what, it's going to be better when we get there. You know what, it's tough enough just to be here. It's tough enough just to figure out what I'm trying to do, who I want to be in life, what classes I'm going to take, how I'm going to take them, where I'm going to go to school. There's all those things that you're struggling with and trying to figure out, or you're excited about. There's all those things. So I wanted to take the first moment here before I jump into anything on Faith, Fuel, Passion to say, I see you, I hear you, I've been there, and I'm with you on this, and I get it. So when I think about the words faith, fuel, passion as they're coming out here to tell me to talk about, I really want to go to the first part, to the second, to put faith over here for a second, and then talk about fueled passion first. And I'll get to why here down the road. Because passion is something that becomes more real as you continue to move through life. From a freshman to a sophomore to a junior to a senior as you get into college. And for me, I was always trying to discovering what it is and how do I do it. And there's really, when I boiled it down and I look back, I really want to equip with you guys with some things that are really going to be able to, you can tangibly use, right? So one of the things when we work with leaders and teams and organizations, from CEOs to somebody who's just one person starting a nonprofit, big Fortune 100 companies to one person, we ask them these 4 questions. And these 4 questions, the first one is, what makes your heart beat? What makes your heart break? What difference do you want to make in the world? And what would it take for you to start? When I think about what makes my heart beat, I want you guys to sit in that for a second. It's when, maybe you're playing an instrument for the first time and you're going, you know what, maybe I like the trumpet, maybe I like this. Obviously, these two like drums, right? And they're good at it. And probably when they play, their heart beats. There's something inside you that makes your heart beat. But there's also this thing called what makes your heart break, the second question. Because the most greatest things on earth are born out of pain or love and us doing something about it, right? That's the difference that you get to make on the world. So people follow their passion. They fuel it in tons of different ways. And then the next one would be, what would it take for me to start? So I want you guys to just think for a second and say, what does make my heart beat? What does it make it break? Is it the homeless? Is it Africa? Is it whatever you guys decide to do in your free time to help others and serve others because you see a need in this world? And then the big tangible thing that I say is after you sit in that, what do I do with it? Okay, my heart beats. My heart breaks. What do I do with it? Well, I would say you got to tell your people. And who are your people? Your people, next slide, is that there's people that are with you, there's people that are for you, there's people that you need to know, and there's people you need to move on from. There's 4 people in your life. So after you discover your passion, what you're trying to do, answering those questions, continuing to do that, you need to get people that are with you. You're with you or your parents, your good friends, the people that are just with you every single day. The people that are for you are the people that said, I hear you, I see you, I want to take you to here. Known as your teachers, right? Your coaches. The people that say, I see something in you, I want to bring it out of you, right? And then there's the people that you need to know. Your network in this room and everybody that's come before you is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Any passion that you have, anything that you want to do, the person you need to know to make that start is either sitting in this room, their parent, right? Or somebody that's graduated before you. I guarantee it. But you got to let people know. And then there becomes people you need to move on from. That's tough, right? I need to keep hanging out with this person. Not if they're keeping you from going that way to your passion. Not if they're not, right? So the one thing that I would say, if you don't know your passion, if you don't know what you're trying to do, keep trying. I'm going to tell you a story of my buddy Danny. Graduated college, said, I want to go into nonprofit. I want to save the world. So he went to Egypt. And he said, you know what? I hate adults. I want to work with kids. So he said, all right, so he starts here. So he graduated college, and we're trying to go north, right? He said, nonprofit. Okay, went to college, going to do that. Went to Egypt. I hate parents. I hate kids. No, what did I say? I hate adults. Sorry. I hate adults. And then he goes, I want to work with kids. So then he went to Africa, and he worked with kids. He goes, I don't like middle schoolers. I want to work with the babies. He said, okay, so we want to work with the babies. So he went to the babies. He went to Latin America. He said, I don't like Africa. I like Latin America. He said, I want to work with the babies. So then he went to work with the babies, and then he loved toddlers, right? And now he's working with toddlers and doing that day in and day out. But he didn't know what he was doing at the start, but he kept saying, does this make my heart beat? What difference do I want to make in the world? What's breaking my heart? What's going to do? And if he told you a story, he was sitting in Japan, and he was in the Navy, and he was sitting on the side of the road, and he saw a little girl, and she didn't have shoes on. And he said, I don't want that to ever happen. And she had no food, no nothing. He said, I have to fix that. I have to fix that. So he decided to move and fix that, right? So as I would say, is that there's a fueled passion that can come out of you, but you have to have people along the way that are going to help you get there. So here's the one thing that I want to give to you is that I had fueled passion. I knew what I wanted to do. I really tried to really move in that direction. I always liked leadership. I always liked helping people getting from point A to point B. But what was wrong is there wasn't really faith in it. I was here. I went to this school. I went to Bible study. I went to chapel. I heard them speak about it. I read the Bible. I went to church. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I went to things at night here I did everything I was supposed to do and check the box. But as I went through it and I went into college, I actually decided to go pre-med because there was a lot of people here that their parents were doctors, and I saw the nice cars and the nice houses, and I saw that money would be solved if I did that I could go do that and provide for my family that way. But I wasn't praying about it. I wasn't including God in that faith-fueled passion. So after college, I did get pre-med. I was going to medical school, but I got the opportunity to play professional soccer for the Columbus Crew for about a season and a half. And as a result, I didn't go back to pre-med. I said, I want to go into sales and management and leadership, and I did that. Again, all following my passion. I want to go in and help people. And so as a result, I went into sales. I went into corporate America, and I spent 10 years in corporate America chasing and fueling my passion of leadership. In 2014, I quit my job and went over to work at a different firm. I went over there because I saw the bigger opportunity, the bigger bucks, the bigger opportunity to have influence, and I didn't pray about it. I didn't include him in the journey. You guys have probably heard how God opens doors, right? He opens doors, the things you're trying to do. For a year, he shut every door in my face, every single one. He shut every door. To the point to when I came in the office on a Friday and said, we're not going to renew your contract. And we're supposed to close on our new house on Monday. And I had to go tell my wife that. But I had started praying probably 3 months before. What do you want me to do here, God? Tell me. I will do whatever you tell me because this isn't the way. I don't know why this is not working. On Monday, he gave me a contract from a call from somebody who said, we'd like to hire your consulting company to do that leadership stuff you're talking about. I didn't have a consulting company. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew what I did worked because it changed a lot of teams and organizations at the company that I worked at. He said, listen to what I'm trying to do. Listen to me, okay? And so if I could say anything to you guys, because now I'm stepping into my passion, I'm having more conversations around faith because of what I do and the relationships I'm making with these CEOs and probably people that are like your parents that are VPs or CEOs or whatever they're doing in their life. I work with those people day in and day out, and I have more conversations about faith than I ever had before. And maybe he was preparing me for that. So one of the things that I would ask you guys to do, and what does that mean, Brad, that you did this, and now that I literally lay my business at the foot of the cross every morning, and in our Monday morning meetings we ask, how did God show up last week? Because we got to pay attention to when he's going to be there, and we got to pay attention to what he's trying to do in our life. And what I would say to you guys, and kind of my ask is if I could go back and sit in your shoes and be sitting there and listening to whoever's talking, I think that God just wants you to invite him to the table. He just wants you to invite him to the table. And I had this put up here, and there's a lot of times that we're sitting, and we're sitting with our parents, we're sitting with our friends, and everybody's at the table except for him. And for me, once I sat him at the table, it no longer was my decision. It was what are you going to do with me today, Lord? Right? What are you going to do? And there's a great A.W. Tozer quote that says, God waits to be wanted. He's literally sitting at the top of heaven going, invite me. Let me be a part of this. Please. He wants to sit right here with you at every decision you make. Where you're going to college. What you're going to choose to do in college. What you're going to find your passion about. The basic stuff that you're doing every single day here in 9th grade to 12th grade and what you're going to do beyond. He wants to sit at this table with you. You can have a fuel passion and it will continue. But when you add faith to it, it does something way more than you can even imagine. So what do you guys actually do with that? One of my favorite quotes comes from my mentor, because God has put you right here today to listen to whatever I have to say because he's coming through me to you, and you guys can receive this. But one of the best quotes that I've ever heard to where you get to do what you want to do is from my mentor James Ryle, and this is a great one. And he's the guy that started Promise Keepers with Bill McCartney, the head football coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. He's a mentor of mine. The quest in life is to be who God created you to be, doing what he has gifted and called you to do, when and where has he assigned you to do it. Each one of us long to be the right person with the right stuff at the right time in the right place. And that is the sweetest spot on earth. That is the sweetest spot on earth. Because when we try to do it ourselves, and we just try to do it ourselves with our own passion, with what we're just trying to do, and don't include God on it, we actually don't know. There's our plan, right? Your plan, right? Which is, click, no. Your plan, right? That you think that you have, and then there's God's plan. I know what you guys are doing. I'm in tune a little bit. All right, I'm 37, but I get it. My millennials keep me up to date. All right, so when you talk about this, there is your plan and then there's God's plan, okay? And what I really want you guys to think about this and what you're doing is that I want to tell you a story about your plan versus God's plans. Does everybody know who Louis Giglio is? Yes, kind of, yeah? Yep, all right, so shh. So Louis Giglio, he started a thing called the Passion Conference, right? But a lot of people don't know that he started in Baylor many years ago, and he started, just creating, a ministry for college kids that started around 2,000 people. One of the things that's really interesting about his story is that as it was getting ready to go, as it was getting ready, to flourish, Louis got called home because his dad was sick and he was dying. And as a result, his mom said, Louie, I need you home. I need you to take care of Dad. And the year that he was supposed to leave and actually be having his going away party at Baylor, he was actually on a flight home because his dad had passed, and he had already packed up everything from Baylor, and now he was headed to Atlanta. And he said, what do you have to do with me, God? What do you want me to do? And sometimes we don't see it because Lou is really focused on his plan, just what he wanted to do. But then God put him there. He started working with a lot more colleges than just one. And as you know, it's moved into the Passion Conference. Well, a couple years ago, he got asked to come to the Chick-fil-A Bowl and actually do the benediction and the prayer. And while he was standing, there giving the benediction and prayer, the very next day, there were 60,000 kids coming to the Passion Conference the next day. 2,000, 60,000. And what's fascinating about this is that when they put the stage in the center of the Chick-fil-A Bowl in the Georgia Dome, he was giving his benediction, and he was talking to the 60,000 kids the very next day. He was standing on top of the Chick-fil-A logo that his dad made 50 years ago. His dad made the Chick-fil-A logo and talk about full circle, knowing exactly where you're supposed to be because he listened to God and not himself. So I ask you guys, as you're thinking about this, one verse has always come to my mind. I'm not here to throw up a ton of verses at you, but this one is where I'd really ask you guys to just lean into it. It's Ephesians 3:20 that says, "Now all glory to God who is able, through his mighty power at work within us, to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think." That we might ask or think. I swear, guys, I did it. My purview was this big of what I thought I could do. And then I turned it over to the Lord. And I know you guys hear this all the time. I turned it over to the Lord, and he's done more than I could have ever done in however I wanted to do it by myself. And that's the same for you guys. You can all do that. And I know, what's the practical application, Brad? Okay, Brad, I hear you. Like, include God, pray. Okay, got it. But it's actually really leaning in. And I said, I wanted to come back and say, you know what, guys, I did it the wrong way. I set him on the sidelines. I said, you're there, thank you, cover me. You're there, help, this isn't going to go well. God, please let me get that sale. I did things that aren't actually having him be at the front and let him push me forward. I did things that I don't want you guys to do. And the amazing part about this is that he thinks every single one of you are a genius. Seriously. He thinks every single one of you, and whatever you try to do, whatever trying you do every day. And once I kind of sat into that, and somebody told me that one day, at least I knew who had my back, and I knew that if I laid it to him and I could give it to him, whatever I needed to give to him, he could do it. And I challenge you guys to say, what is the practical application of me just letting him sit at the table and have conversation and a relationship with him? Right? So, as I kind of wrap up and kind of bring this all together, there's a challenge I have for you. And I really want you all to listen up, wake up, off your phones for a second, if you are. Is that I really want you guys to think about this. This is a quote from Billy Graham. "Who knows what events await us in this century, both for good and for evil? I believe the greatest challenge of this century will not be technological, economical, social, or political. The greatest challenge instead will be spiritual. For unless we tame the human heart, the 21st century could be the most destructive and cataclysmic in human history." You're sitting here because I believe you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to go into the workplace, go into the marketplace, go to college, and put God a part of whatever you're choosing to do. Your parents didn't put you here and have you come here not to at least know that that's available. I want to show you an example just by sheer. Everybody just stand up for just a second. Stand up. Just stand up just for a second. Everybody. All right, here's what I want to do. I want the first two rows to stay standing. I see this was just to wake you up. And everybody else to sit back down. Gotcha. All right. First row, turn around and look at them. First and second row, turn around and look at them. All right. Say hello. All right, anyways. So the people that just sat down, this is a national Gallup poll. This is real life. 80% of people that walk into what they do every day don't like what they do. The people sitting down probably started with fueled passion. Probably started to figure out what they wanted to do. Probably tried to figure out, but 80%, the people who work for your parents, probably your parents, people that work anywhere, they don't like what they do. These people up here, 20% of people love the job that they do every day. This whole passion, this whole doing what you're supposed to, this whole just how do we step into our purpose? Okay, you guys can turn and sit down. It's important. I wanted to show you that because that's where you're going. And I think that if you guys put spirituality and you put God at the front of it, and you put faith first before the fuel passion and actually include him in the conversation, you will see a different turnout than the 80%. I promise. Because probably the 80% is concerned with things that are of this world. Here's what I don't want. We can chase our passion and lose our faith. Let's chase our faith and find our passion. We can chase our passion and lose our faith. Let's chase our faith and find our passion. We have a higher calling. We're here. You know of the Lord. You know God. You know what's going on. You have a higher calling. And I want you guys to really internalize that and make sure that you guys use that day in and day out. Because here's what we are all searching for. And this is an equation that when they ask me to do faith-fueled passion, it's an equation that actually leads to purpose. Every single one of you have a calling. Every single one of you have a purpose. Every single one of you, if you just say, what makes my heart beat? What makes it break? What difference do I want to make in the world? And what would it take for me to start? Okay, got close to it. All right, do that again. And inviting God into that conversation. As you do that, I promise you'll get there faster than other people will. It took me to the age of 35. To the age of 35 to figure it out. You don't have to. So how, Brad? So how do I tangibly make this work? What does that even look like? So there's some cards on the side over here. I'd like the people on this side to pick up and pass across. This is very simple. I want you guys to take these cards, and you can write them. You can put them up here. And I'm going to give a minute, and I'm going to have the people play a song. But I want you to write one thing down. Write one thing down that you want to invite God to the table to talk with. Something with. Might be your passion. Might be something you're struggling with right now. That tangible ask of inviting him into everything that you're doing, it just has to start somewhere. Right? So I want everybody, they're going to play a song, and then I'm going to come back, do a quick summary, and then I'm going to pray over you. But I would like everybody to take a minute to write it down, and then I want you guys to lay it up here as you walk out. Okay? And what I'm going to do is that, and if you don't have it, we'll have it, the teachers will collect it from you. What we're going to do is we're going to have the teachers pray over this when we're done. So I have the song. Go ahead.
You split the sea so I can walk right through it. You drowned my fear in perfect love. You rescued me so I can stand and sing. I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave
you're able to write it down, that'd be great, and leave it up here. Just really in summary, before I pray, I want you guys to really know that I want you to enjoy this journey of high school and college, and as you guys continue to search to find your passion. I'd really ask you to consider those questions of what makes your heart beat, what makes your heart break, what difference do you want to make in the world, and what would it take for you to start. Use your network, use the people here, put people around you that are going to do that. There is a difference between your purpose and God's purpose for you. And then I just say, just like you just did, invite him to the conversation and just see what he's up to. Just see what he's up to. And I ask all of you to take the challenge to just put him as a part and number one under the faith-fueled passion and not just the passion. Okay? So let me pray over everybody and then we'll go from there. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for every single soul in this room. I thank you for what you're doing. I think that you're preparing their hearts for what they're going to go do in this world that is going to honor you in everything that they do. I would ask that you would just touch them and have them just seek you and how to invite you to the table just as a simple conversation and what that would look like and see what you can do and not what just they can do. Because when they see that and they feel that, there's a fire inside that keeps you going, and I just pray that fire just comes up in them. Thank you so much for all the teachers, all the coaches, everybody that supports these kids and trying to get them to where they want to go. Thank you for the time here. I pray a blessing as they walk out of here, as they go do what they're going to do, and as they go out to the rest of this year and summer to honor you in everything that they do. In your name, amen.